Before we start, let me note, I am not coming for anyone. I've just recognized an issue in the book community and we really do need to address it. So please, let's get into it. Hello, hello, hello. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Shelly, a lover of books, and really just discussing all things to do with books, including everything that's happening in the book world. And today we have to address the book haul problem. So let me give you a bit of background as to where exactly I'm coming from, especially considering I've recently done a book haul video myself. I was, as you would do, trying to figure out what video to actually record for this next video on my channel. And while that's happening, I also just decided to look on booktube and see what else is everyone speaking about. Is there anything that I can put my 2 cents in? And looking at booktube, I saw so many book haul videos. And at first I'm just like, okay, maybe this is just obviously it's what's popular. That's not too bad. I can't always blame, what's popular. And I can't just say that because it's popular, it's bad. But even looking at certain pages, book hauls would be every other video. And I was like, how can this be sustainable? And in lies the issue. So today we're going to really look into book hauls and obviously their contribution to what is an overconsumption problem, and in line with that, the role that influencers play in the growing overconsumption problem. First and foremost, for those of you who are just like, I haven't really done a book haul or just don't know the basic, phenomena of book haul, it's really just exactly what it sounds like. Just buying a lot of books and sharing those books with, the result being that people will get excited and go and buy those books that you've spoken about in your book haul. And when it comes to book haul culture, and whether that be on booktube, booktok, bookstagram, whichever platform you're using, the allure of book hauls is that there's just an excitement that's built up from a book haul. You get to discover new titles, you get to discover new authors, you even get intrigued by a new genre sometimes, and the excitement of buying those books, reading those books, and filling up your library is just something that grabs a lot of people, which is why, quite frankly, a lot of people come to YouTube and they don't even look for the recommended videos. They type up book haul and they love watching book hauls to see all these books that they can potentially get, and also kind of sharing the excitement of the person creating the video. That is basically the essence of book haul and book haul culture. But the problem now is that book haul culture is inadvertently promoting overconsumption by creating this sense of urgency, that mentality of, I need to have this book, I need to have this now. But more so than that, it's also encouraging bulk buying, and that leads to a lot of backlog in readers' houses and flats and wherever they're living. And it also creates clutter because you're bulk buying, and the pace at which most people read is just, it's not like robots. We can't actually read 20 books in a week. So buying so many books just leads to clutter. And once again, this overconsumption becomes a problem because it also creates a strain on the people who are watching the videos and then going on to buy the books. And this is where influencers, so your booktubers, your booktalkers, your bookstagrammers, this is where they have a role to play in this, because they are the ones, making videos and saying, oh, look at all these books that I bought. And it becomes problematic, especially because people are watching because they trust your reviews and they trust your recommendation. But then the relationship between the influencer and, their audience becomes blurred, because when you're constantly book hauling and constantly recommending, that line gets blurred because it comes to a point where we can't tell what's a promotion anymore. When you're book hauling so much, yeah, it becomes a bit dangerous. But even beyond the complicated relationship between, book influencers and their watchers, it's also this mindset that's starting to be promoted with all of these book haul videos, and with the growing amount of book haul videos. It's that mindset that you have to keep up, you have to be buying books and buying books and promoting books in order to stay relevant in this space. So if you're a creator, and I definitely have felt this kind of this kind of pressure, and I really had to take a step back, just the belief that, I have to consistently be doing things like buying new books to review new books and give people recommendations of new books. As I've said before on this channel, I was a late bloomer to, the enjoyment of reading. And so there are quite a lot of books that I just haven't read that, are old. But if a book sounds good, a book sounds good. And so I find myself reading a lot of books that came out years ago. But these are the books that I'm going to give reviews on because they're the books that I've read. But then with book hauls, there's kind of like just this mindset, that's being built around us, that people aren't going to be interested when you buy a bunch of old books. They want new books because they want to discover new things. And so there's just this dangerous mindset that, this book haul and overconsumption is building, and that's the danger of it. I mean, in the recent book haul I did, I know that, I had obviously new books that came out, but I had a book that has been released for years. I had a book that came out 2 years ago, a book that came out last year. It was a very diverse range of books in terms of when they were released. But that's just how I read. I see a book that's interesting, and whether or not it was released in this year, in the last month, I do not care. I picked it up because it looks like I'll enjoy it. But with this book haul culture, it's kind of like there's this pressure on creators to have to pick up the newest and haul the newest so that you can, be a part of this community. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying this about booktube, I'm just saying about book community in general. There's just this pressure that if you want to keep up, then you need to keep up, essentially. And we've seen quite a lot of creators saying, I'm taking a step back because it's actually hard to keep up, and I feel like a lot of pressure is being put on me to keep up in certain ways, and I just can't maintain that lifestyle. And I can sympathize and I understand, but this is one of the dangers of this book haul culture. And yeah, it just needs to end, because where are we taking the creators, and not just the creators but the readers as well, those watching the videos, that that mindset of, oh, I need to be able to buy every new book that's coming out, every new release, because I want to partake in the reading challenges, I want to partake in the readathons, and these are new books that they're reading. And so this mindset is just, it's creating just kind of a dangerous space for consumption, because people won't be able to keep up. And that is another downside of this entire issue, and that is the mental health aspect. This pressure to keep up is why a lot of people are stepping out. They're stepping away. It's insane burnout on both the creator side and the reviewer side. There's feelings of stress, and not just that, feelings of inadequacy, because you're just I just can't keep up, not even financially, because that's a strain in itself, but I just can't keep up mentally. I am not able to read and, buy and read, buy and read, and buy and read. There are people who just like reading and they read one book a month, and that's just them, and that's great for them. But then with book hauls, you're just seeing all of these books thrown out at you. You're just I have to pick everything. And I know not everyone is going to feel that way, and you're not going to be taken over by that mindset. But with the growing culture of book hauls, it is something that we are seeing. There is a growing overconsumption. And I think, definitely the consistent and, constant book hauls that are being put out by book influencers definitely have a role to play in that. And I think when doing so many book hauls, I think there is this lack of consideration of, oh, how will this come off to people who are watching? Obviously, influencers do not come and say you have to buy this book. I mean, we do, but it's kind of just in jest, oh, you have to get this book. But for someone watching, if you're constantly seeing a book and you want to interact and you want to engage with the community, and you're constantly seeing books being thrown at you, there's pressure to cave. There's definitely pressure to cave, and eventually you'll cave. Not everyone, but eventually so many people cave, and then they start to feel the strain. And beyond the actual, like, all of these issues, the pressure and the mental health, and beyond that, there is a wider issue in the sense that with book haul culture, there is an actual adverse effect to small businesses. So hear me out. With the book hauls that we're doing, I know a lot of creators, they do their book hauls in person, and they even say, come and shop with me. That happens quite a lot. But a lot of book hauls are very much online. Yeah, I bought a lot of books online because, let's be real, in this day and age, that is where a lot of us purchase our books. We purchase it on online bookstores. It's just easier for us because, life is lifing, and there's just quite a lot of things happening, and so buying online is easier for us. But what happens is these bookstores start to suffer because with book hauls, one thing that happens quite a lot is people book haul, obviously, the more popular books, the books that are, being put in their faces. I heard about this book, and this book, it was like in the front, in the front of the shelves, and it was the one being displayed even in mainstream bookstores. And so there is a danger to small businesses and small bookstores because with book hauls, it's usually kind of like popular books. Oh, everyone was speaking about this book, so I got these books. And so it's kind of like the same books being put out in circulation and, being promoted. And so it doesn't really foster like a diverse literary ecosystem. So one thing with book hauls, I know a lot of book hauls is, oh, she chose my book, or, oh, everyone's talking about this book. And you have just a stack of books that are popular. And not to say that those books are bad, but then one thing with small businesses is small businesses and small bookshops are great because they stock, obviously, the regular, the popular, but they also stock books that you wouldn't have heard about. They stock books from diverse authors. And so you get to discover newer things. But with book hauls, most of the books being promoted on book hauls are books that you're seeing anyway. And so all it's doing is kind of just like, once again, just promoting the same books over and over again. And so it's not helping us to, like, read more diversely and, read books that we wouldn't normally see online. And so even with this area, book hauls have, an inadvertent and adverse reaction. And not to say that, book hauls will be the downfall of small businesses and small bookshops. Of course not. I'm just saying that there is an adverse reaction to all the book hauls, all the book hauls that we are seeing. Now, all of this being said, I know some people might ask, okay, Shelly, so what are we going to do? Should we not do book hauls? I'm not saying that we shouldn't do book hauls, not at all. I think, if anything, with all of my discourse and everything happening in the book world, I always try at least to have a very like centered view, because I'm not saying don't go and buy books. Like, come on, guys, we're book lovers. Like, look at me, I'm surrounded by books right now, and it's true, I haven't read all these books either. And yes, I will even admit to having been influenced by book haul culture myself and having done book hauls. But I think we definitely need to have more consideration for all of these points that I've mentioned when actually, like, not just buying but also making videos to actually promote a more sustainable kind of like reading environment, so that we can remove some of the pressures that are actually being created in the book community to overhaul and just buy what you can't afford and buy what you're not reading, and to really just be stuck. Because one thing I've also seen that happens quite a lot is book hauls can even contribute to reading not being enjoyable anymore. And I know that sounds weird, but it can. And I think we're even seeing this now. Now, if you are in Booksphere, wherever you are, so Book Twitter, BookTok, Bookstagram, if you are there, then you will have probably been hearing quite a lot of people speak about how they're experiencing, a book slump. And I remember going, oh my goodness, so it's not just me. And, a few videos ago, I made a video about how to get out of a book slump that has like, some tried and tested methods that I've used to escape my book slump. But it's kind of problematic when you keep getting into one. And at first I'm just like, oh, is it a seasonal thing because winter cold? But I'm just like, no. In the winter when it's cold, we stay in, we get warm and we read more. Readers read in every season. So it's just, yeah. Is it an individual pressure thing? But no, because everyone seems to be in a book slump. I mean, we can all be facing some individual pressures, but oh my goodness, like who would have thought that it really just would, the world would just like fall on us. And I think part of it is definitely overconsumption, 100% overconsumption. I won't even lie to you, because when you are being bombarded with book recommendations left, right, and center, and I know that obviously I can be a perpetrator here, being a bookfluencer myself, you now get overwhelmed and you feel burned out, and book and reading just don't seem fun anymore, because what's happening is you're now just trying to keep up. You're trying to partake in every challenge. You're trying to participate in every readathon. You're trying to read every single book that has been presented to you. You're trying to buy everything while it's still fresh, while it's still new, while people are still talking about it so that you can engage. And eventually your mind just says, I can't do it anymore. And you don't see the fun in reading. You're just like, this is not enjoyable, because am I doing this because I enjoy it, or am I doing it because I want to keep up? And that's one of the dangers of like, the book haul culture, and how it's contributing to overconsumption. Because eventually this thing that we're doing, reading, is something that we do for fun, we enjoy, we love. But then we lose our love, we lose our passion, we lose our enjoyment, because there's just so much pressure and so much strain from keeping up in this environment that's being created, this book haul culture that's being created. And so I definitely want us to take a step back as, watchers and as creators as well, and be more considerate to like all of these issues that may stem from book haul culture, because guys, we don't want it. We don't want, we don't want to now live in a culture. I mean, we already are living in a culture that's kind of been taken over from overconsumption, but we don't want to participate. We don't want to encourage. If anything, we want to get back to people being considerate about what they buy, to people actually having sustainable purchase habits, to people actually supporting other businesses because they're not too much in a rush to get a book as quickly as as they can. We want to create a more healthy reading and literary ecosystem. And so if anything, this video was really just to bring attention to a problem that I recognize, a problem that I possibly have contributed to, and a problem that, let's be real, is very, very fixable. Like, book hauls are very, very fun, they can be very, very enjoyable, but I think watching a book haul, creating a book haul, we just need to be a bit more like considerate of like, the ramifications that can be, had from them. So that is really all I had to say. Like I said, I'm not coming for anyone. I'm not coming for any particular creator. I'm not coming for you, the viewers. I'm not even coming for myself, as both a creator and a reviewer. I'm just saying that, yeah, a bit more can be done, and the onus is on us to do it. And hopefully, by us actually being considerate and actually noting our habits, we can create a more sustainable world where overconsumption isn't the way that we live. So yeah, that is it for today. Yes, I know that, yeah, I probably did attack a few people indirectly, but if anything, it's an indirect. It was not my intention. I'm sorry. But that's all I had to say. I'll see you guys next time. Once again, be sure to like, comment, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. And be sure to click that bell so that you will always be notified when there's a new video. I definitely am taking your words on board in terms of like the poll that everyone voted on. I will try to just encourage more discussions about things happening in the literary world. But I will also be putting out review videos, but I will be putting them out at my own pace, guys, because I too suffered from a book slump, as you will have known. And so I am taking everything at my own pace and just enjoying reading again, and that's doing it a bit slower. than I normally would. So do please be patient with me. I'm so happy that you guys are here. You guys, your support and your comments are always so fun to engage with. And it's just really fun to be in this book space. So thank you once again for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye.